What is up? Is it working? Hey, Josh and Ashlee here. Welcome to the Josh and Ashlee Show, or the Ward Plan Podcast. Do you have a small local business and you want to change the world and crush it and talk about fun, entertaining things with Ashlee and I? If so, stick around. We're going to talk about Elon Musk. We're going to talk about the fact checkers actually fact-checking fact checkers, which is really interesting. We're going to talk about the $2 billion Powerball and the glitch. We're going to talk about epic life skills for kids, for your kids. That's going to be a big one. And we're also going to talk about the crazy escapades of Cancun, Mexico. Ashlee and I have been back like 48 hours-ish from Mexico. How you doing over there, Ash? How's things going?
Oh my goodness, I am doing so wonderful. I did survive Cancun, Mexico, so I'm feeling very excited to share.
Yeah, sure. Kick us off with a Cancun-ism. First of all,
A Cancun-ism?
a Cancun story. How about when I danced and I had the crowd roaring? You didn't expect that. You almost peed your pants. What were you thinking?
I was thinking, well, A, you don't dance.
Correct. That's fair.
B, you definitely don't dance in public. And C, you just walked up, owned the place, and just let your freak flag fly. Sean and I were actually on the stage, which I feel like we don't get credit for, but because I almost peed my pants while I was on the stage watching your dance moves. I actually thought maybe you might pull something because it was so extra. But it was the Day of the Dead. We went to the Day of the Dead. We looked like a bunch of gringos at the Day of the Dead party, but we lived our best life.
Well, Halloween's kind of like dark and evil, and this is like way worse. And the whole hotel was
no,
just
no, no,
decorated,
no.
right?
Okay,
or
it is.
is it the same exact thing, or is it?
Ooh, I don't know. This might cause controversy from the beginning, but the Day of the Dead is supposed to honor their dead relatives. So it is creepy. They have like altars everywhere and stuff.
It's like totally like demonic and worshiping death, isn't it?
A little bit, yeah. I would say like celebrating death in a weird way. I don't want to like assault anyone's culture right now, but I did eat a sacrifice and I didn't know it.
I do remember that.
I actually ate 2 decorations. I thought they were
Hey,
edible.
it was an all-inclusive. So they had decorations laid out on this Day of the Dead memorial, but it was like food and bread and snacks, and you ate it, and then they gave you dirty looks.
I had a great idea that I don't even know if it was my idea, or it might have been even Sean's, or maybe it would have been like a dual idea of like, hey, maybe you should try out all these. They had this like dessert bar with like a churro cart and stuff. Try out all of these desserts on Instagram and like tell us how they are. So I grabbed all of the desserts on the table and some off the table, and some of them were decorations. So I did eat a glitter and a sacrifice that is like, it was like this thing, this piece of bread that was like this big, rolled in sugar, and I just took the whole thing. I apologize to all the people at the resort that thought I ate your sacrifice to your dead relative.
It was an interesting trip, and we were there for a business conference, which was super awesome. To shout out to all of our friends who were there. But we're also so busy, and there's so many things happening. Like I just wanted to get back and like catch up, and now I don't even feel like I'm catching up. But here we are. So let's kick it off with a question for you. So you're kind of a little bit of an Elon Musk fangirl. Like you're always texting me things and updates. A little bit.
I mean,
at least a little bit. Come on, it's okay. This is a safe place. Okay.
I am a little bit of a fangirl, but I'm also like, he might be a bad player in the end. He might be. I don't know exactly, but he might be a bad player, so we'll see.
He's super fun to watch right now, though. So he buys Twitter, does a bunch of stuff, fires a bunch of people, like tons of people. And literally half the world hates his guts, and half the people think he's amazing. But yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, he banned Kathy Griffin, right? Griffin. The so-called comedian. I've never cared for her. She's terrible.
She's really debauched.
But she renamed her profile to say that her name was Elon Musk. And so I saw a TikTok where it said that her account was banned. I'm like, there's no way that happened. So then I went on Twitter, and he had banned her account.
Which is fascinating.
And then she said, I got banned for impersonating Elon Musk. And he said, no, you got banned for impersonating a comedian.
He's a savage. I think that's why I like him so much, is because I don't know what he's going to do. It's like grab your popcorn and watch Elon Musk take on the global elitist. I mean, these people, come on. They had it coming, but like the regular person can't really attack them because they do get banned. But like Elon Musk, he can't get censored. He can't get censored now. And so it's just so fascinating. So it's like grab your popcorn.
It's kind of magical. Now, he might be part of this big evil cabal too, and we just don't know it. I don't know, but it is entertaining to watch. But here's the really cool part that relates to small business is the fact that The big controversy this last week was that Twitter fact-checked the White House's official Twitter account, which is amazing. So what happened was the Biden administration put out a tweet that that Social Security checks were going to have like the biggest increase ever under the Biden leadership. But then it got fact-checked correctly by Twitter to say, well, that's not exactly true. Yeah, sure, your Social Security check is going to go up. But that's because of rampant runaway inflation, which doesn't mean you get more money. It means you have to pay $12.50 for a loaf of bread. So they give you a few more bucks in your check. So like the way
they were taking credit. They were taking credit for something that was like...
It's gross, but it's also fascinating for marketing because you can see the media, Hollywood, everything. If you get red pilled to like that everything is marketing and marketing is everything, you can see it everywhere. Like you can't unknow it, but everything's framed and reframed. You use euphemisms and diphemisms to make things bend to their narrative, right? But they never get called out on it. The people that get called out on it are like the little average regular guy that shares a story and his account gets banned. So I thought it was hilarious. But then to make it even more hilarious, Facebook fact-checked Twitter's fact-check.
Which is also in of itself amazing. Because
amazing.
No one has been fact-checking the fact-checkers until Elon Musk shows up and does something they don't like.
Well, in fact-checkers, it's not like there's these unbiased. First of all, there's no such thing as unbiased people. It's just not a thing. Everybody says nice things like, don't judge a book by its cover. Everybody literally judges every book by its cover, pretty much. So there's nice things that we want to be true, and then there's the reality of how the world works. There's no unbiased. If I was hired to be a fact checker, it would be like biased towards my worldview and everything. And so,
well, you're not supposed to be. And like, who also is fact checking? Like, that's the whole thing. Is there's certain companies that fact check towards the lean. And what's so funny is like the people that are getting fact checked. Like, you'll say something like, hey, I like had a little, I had allergies this weekend. And then they're like, on the bottom link, it's like COVID things. You know what I mean? Like they're fact checking things that don't even make sense, which has been proving that the fact checkers.
It's out of control. You can't go on YouTube and watch a weird, like I love to watch conspiracy theory videos. Like shout out to all my peeps. They're so fun, interesting. And I believe a lot of them. But they put little like links under it, like to Wikipedia, as if Wikipedia is unbiased. It's entirely biased. Everything's biased. I don't think it's bad that it's biased. What's bad is that they pretend like it's not biased. Or like Snopes, that's a joke. All this stuff's a joke. But it's entertaining if you let it be. But here's the lesson. Here's the lesson if you have a small business owner. Or if you are a small business owner. It's that stop being scared to be a little bit polarizing. I'm not telling you to go live if you're a realtor and to just be political. But what I am telling you is like standing for something or taking a stand really helps your business a lot. And people are way too gun shy about this stuff. Like this whole system operates on making everybody scared to do stuff. And it's silly. It's silly. So Elon is very polarizing. People hate him. Like hate him.
I think they actually love to hate him. They love to hate him.
They used to love him though.
Well, they love him when he's on their team. When he fights against their bad guys,
right?
It's like, yay,
well,
Elon.
Same thing with Donald Trump, actually. He was like adored by celebrities just globally, and then they hate him now. But Elon, he's polarizing. In marketing, it's called splitting the room. He definitely has split the room, and so you got kind of two sets of people. Well, in business, when we're just kind of quiet in the middle with everything, and we don't have any flavor or personality or anything, and I'm not just talking about political stuff. I'm just saying it's okay to be what you are, or even a slightly exaggerated version of what you are, because it splits the room. And what that does, you're going to have haters, but haters are your elevators. That's what Josh Fierstein always says. Shout out to Josh. What's up, Josh Fierstein? Haters are your elevators because the other people over here love you even more. So the people, like, I'm actually nervous by how obsessed people are with Elon Musk. He's like demigod status to these people.
Oh, he wore a weird Halloween costume too. That was like, But I do have to say something about this. Mm-hmm. For all the people who aren't in small business and you're watching this podcast, you're like, how did I land here? I'm not even an entrepreneur. Welcome. But I will tell you this. My husband taught me a really great trick because I'm like a newer entrepreneur, even though I've been an entrepreneur wife for 15, 20 years. Everything is marketing. So if you see something online today that gets you really riled up and you're like, I'm having a hard time controlling my emotions, what is happening here? It's probably marketing. Like everything really is marketing. And when you can take a step back and realize I'm getting drawn into marketing and I'm getting riled up by marketing, just take a deep breath and say, what's really going on here? Because most of the time, it's not what you think. It really is just some kind of marketing play. Someone's playing with your emotions and you just tell them, have a seat, sir. This is marketing.
I actually, last week, I meant to play this on our first test podcast. This is still a test. Let's be clear. We don't know what we're
practicing.
doing. But Drew Cope actually sent me a link to this really short ad. And Jarrett, if you want to try, we're going to try to inject like this little clip. But it's an example of a service business being polarizing in their marketing. I thought it was hilarious. And I think it'll be helpful. Let's see if we can get that to work. Is that going to work, Jarrett? What do you think?
So you don't believe in climate change?
No.
But you have geothermal heating and cooling.
Got a big tax credit, save money every month.
So you've never been to any climate change rally ever in your life?
No, and
Stay away from them.
don't plan to.
Yes. First of all, good job, nerdy tech team guys. That was really cool that you did that. That's an edgy ad. That was from a huge company. I think they might even be a 9-figure kind of national brand. I forget the name of the company because I looked at it last week. But that is so awesome because it splits the room. It's polarizing, but it wasn't overtly offensive.
Yeah.
Really, but it was subtly offensive. So the hardcore climate people are like, I'm never buying geothermal from them. But that's a really small percentage of people. And the majority either, hopefully have some sense of humor and are cool with it. Like, I love ads that make fun of Donald Trump, as long as it's done, it's not hatred, it's just funny, making fun of him. Right?
Well, this is actually we weren't going to talk about this, but this leads into a thought that I had is that for Honor and Fire, for our Kid War Plan, we have run lots of different ads. And one of the ads we've run 2 ads that are a Donald Trump impersonator. Okay, so hopefully the fact checkers aren't fact checking right now on Facebook and tagging us for false information right now. But if they do, that would be hilarious. But anyways, the irony of that, fact checking the fact checkers who outed the fact checkers. But we have this Donald Trump ad, and the one, it produced tons of sales for us, but then it got flagged and banned, and because they said we didn't say it was political, which is hilarious because when you watch the video, it has nothing to do with actual politics, and people know that, and they know it's not real Donald Trump and stuff. Right. But what's so funny is that the one didn't get flagged. And the amount of haters that help us sell books is fascinating. They help us sell books, but it's also interesting how many people love Trump. And then there's this subculture of people who think we're making fun of Trump. So it's like we get people who love Trump, who hate Trump, who are mediocre. They all comment if they love him or hate him. And some people are like, I would never buy your book because he was the greatest president who ever existed and you made fun of him. So literally, and then people have called us Nazis because it's a Trump ad.
Oh, we've been called child abuser, pedophile Nazis.
Oh, every day.
Because we sell a book.
Because we sell a kid journal. But because our ad is polarizing on purpose, we wanted to pay attention. Y'all, you don't pay attention to the boring. You pay attention to the things that polarize, the things that catch your attention. So it caught your attention and it created a feeling, and you, my friend, just got served some marketing.
Another thing that caught my attention was the Powerball is it $2 billion or is it just under $2
billion?
billion?
It's $1.9 billion. It's the biggest Powerball ever. Actually, I think it's the biggest jackpot ever. But they had a glitch.
But with inflation, that's probably only $1.5 billion. It's not that much.
The kids and I calculated because I like to watch this stuff. It gets me. We all know I like turkey bingo, okay? The VFW hall has ruined me in the gambling realm because I love to win a turkey for turkey bingo. Yes, if you know what turkey bingo is. But I love the Powerball, and it's $1.9 billion. The cash out value is 900 and something. I can't remember. Maverick might know. It's 900 million.
The lump sum.
The lump sum is
if you win and you don't want 30 years of payments, they'll give you
the 30 years of payments. I think Maverick and I figured it out. Maybe we had rough math. So if anybody wants to fact check us, you can. But it's 63 million a year if you take the lump sum. But if you die within that 30 years, it does not go to your family. So it's just gone. So the Powerball people know what they're doing. Okay. And then the lump sum is only 900 million or something, which is a lot. But then you have so much go to taxes, a third of it goes to taxes basically. So you get 600 million. Still pretty awesome day. Let me just say.
About half of it will go to taxes.
Oh, maybe half.
Level. I don't know.
So you get like 400
Comment
million.
How much of it would be taxes if you're watching this? There's got to be at least 2 people watching. Jarrett, is anybody watching this right now? Is it just us? How we
Yeah,
do?
you got 20 people.
All right, woo, almost 24 people. You're my people. Hey, let's talk. Let's talk to each other. Jarrett will tell us what you're talking about. So after taxes,
It's not
1.9 billion turns into like 500 million.
Yes, which is still awesome. It's still awesome. But I will tell you this, they had a glitch, they had a security issue, they had to pull the balls late. Like they still don't know if there's a winner out there, which not that I hope that there's not, because congratulations if you're the Powerball winner. But I would have loved to participate just so I could feel like I'm at the races.
What would you do? Okay, I want to ask Jibby Will, I want to ask Maverick, and I want to ask Jarrett and you. You get 500 million after taxes, free and clear in your checking account. It's boom,
Okay.
It's done. What do you do? What's your strategy for? Do you tell people? Do you not tell people? What do you do first? What do you do second?
Oh my gosh.
What are the crazy things? Be honest. Don't be like, well, I'm just gonna, change the world. Like, what would you do? What would you buy? What would you go do? Go ahead. You first.
Me? Wow.
You're first.
Wow. Just so you know, if I did win, I would have to like process my thoughts first and like get a hold of like
Just
what I
tell
do.
us.
Okay, I would wear a costume. It
costume.
wouldn't look like me. I mean, not that I would be
Maybe
able.
wear a costume to go pick up your check,
Frick yeah!
like a fake mustache.
Oh no, it would probably include. Maybe I'd even get some piercings just for the charade.
Dye your hair.
Get a face tat. No, I'm just
glasses.
kidding. Then they would really know who I was. But I would give a lot of money away, like a lot.
Well, yeah.
A
But what would
lot.
you buy?
What would I buy?
Yes.
Investments. I would pour money into businesses. I would explode businesses faster. I would get some of the things that are on our 5-year mark and get them done in 5 weeks. That's what I would do. It would go all into reinvesting. It wouldn't be. Now I would go to Hawaii, everybody, in my new pierced.
But we could go
Go
to
ahead.
Hawaii. Like Alex Hormozy said something super deep and profound. He says lots of things that are super deep and profound because he's super smart and awesome, and I love his content. But he was talking about how when you literally can buy literally anything you want,
You don't want
there's no appeal to buy stuff. Like when you don't have anything and you get something, it's really meaningful. It's special. It's a big deal. Like when I bought my trailer. Ashley and I were married 20 years ago. We lived in a condominium. Condominium, get it? It was a mobile home. Really nice one. I got a mortgage, but it was weird because my mortgage came with a title, like my car has a title. Like my house had like a vehicle title because it's on wheels. But we lived there, but it was such a big deal. I was like really proud of it. And sometimes I think about it and I'm like embarrassed that I was proud of it. But then I'm like, no, why would it be like, that's normal. It's natural. It was a big deal. I did it. I didn't have a cosigner. Like it was my own condominium, but it loses its allure the more things that you buy.
But I think
Right?
I think that's the thing is that I really wouldn't buy anything that isn't already on the plan of what we're doing, and I would still give money away to widows, orphans, and bug eaters. Like you know what I mean? That's what I would do.
We'll have to talk about bug eaters.
Yes, I mean that's that's our heart. That's what we do anyways. So I would be giving away money to that. That's not because I'm saying, oh, I'll change the world if I win the Powerball. Like that's just what we already do. And then I'd invest in our businesses, and then I would throw in a few extra little fun things. Like my dad would be getting a beach house. We'll just be honest.
Yeah.
I would be buying him a beach house, and yeah, I'd be buying some things, some fun things that like maybe
Did you
I.
see that interview with Kevin Hart and The Rock? And The Rock
Oh
said he bought his
my
mom.
gosh!
He bought his mom a house.
Please, Jarrett, if you can find that, that is so freaking funny.
Well, basically, The Rock mentioned that he bought his mom a house, but like recently. And then Kevin Hart was like, "Are you kidding me? How do I do a Kevin Hart voice? I don't know how to do a Kevin Hart voice."
He's like, after you're a billionaire.
He's like, "Oh, so you bought a house now after you've made $1 billion? Like, oh, you're so generous, right?" Okay, Jibby Will.
Yeah.
What would you do with 500 million, taxes paid, it's all done, you got it? What do you do? Are you coming back to work the next day? Or are you going to bail on us?
Oh, please do.
Please come back.
I think I wouldn't want to tell anyone, but I think it would probably become very apparent because I don't think I would spend it right. I'd probably buy some pretty crazy things. So it'd become very apparent what happened.
Because you would have designer everything,
It
wouldn't
would
you?
be pretty ridiculous.
You would be wearing everything Kanye West wears. 'Cause-
Everything. It would be his actual outfits.
Oh,
From
okay. You
his
just
actual
you would
ones.
buy them from him.
Yes.
Okay.
But you know what's interesting, though? This always happens. Ashley and I have asked each other this question for years. It's a super fun question. And she always tells me the things she'll buy. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. But like, what about the other 499 million? because you don't even know how to think big enough on what to do with it. You're like,
true.
oh, I'm totally buying like 50 grand worth of clothes. It's like, okay, like you'll make more in interest by the time you get home from the store than you spent on the clothes, right? What is
One
500?
Birkin bag can cost 50 grand. Just
Oh,
so
that's
you know.
true.
So
The baby Birkins.
Yes, but
I didn't
there's
even
like-
know Birkins existed until this year, and then I was like,
So
"Wait,
expensive.
you paid how much? You have to get an appointment. You can pay for an appointment to get a purse, and then you just buy the one purse."
That's
It's
a
whole-
marketing case study we need to break down. Jarrett Maverick, what would you guys do?
I would buy a house for sure, but I know that's probably, I would get a huge house. Find a
huge?
huge house.
What's huge?
Get a huge house.
How
huge
big is
house
huge?
Plus, 7,000 square feet plus.
Okay.
Big house. And then I would buy all my family houses. That'd be great.
Okay.
You're just the house father.
So we spent what? 3 million so far? Something like
yeah,
that?
a little bit. And then
Keep going.
Yeah, invest a lot. Investing would be great. Investing will be good. I don't even know. It kind of hurts my brain to think about.
I think you should pull it out in cash and put it under your bed.
No, that's the
I-
worst
I
idea.
feel like I
500
could
million in shoeboxes.
I could make a mattress out of the cash. You have a unicorn from Unicorn Squad that responded on the chat. Yes. Joe, she said, if I won, I would pay for coaching and mentorship to grow my companies. I'd also plan a trip to Israel and Ireland with my family.
Oh, she's so cool.
That is great. You
And then
still
she
have
said-
499 million left though.
Same extra money would just speed up my current plans. And then Jason Hatch said, a ton of good things can be done with a ton of good money.
I think I honestly, if I can just be like the Debbie Downer of this situation,
No, Debbie Downer.
I really believe it would be really heavy weight to carry. It would be depressing. There would be emotional roller coasters happening because all of your relationships would instantly change. Maybe not all, but probably. People get weird. It's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine who went into partnership with another guy I know, and the business was like a flaming dumpster fire of not profitable, tiny little cute thing. And they didn't paper their partnership agreement like exactly right.
Oh, I see what's coming.
Yeah, so everybody's talks very altruistically when there's no money, or when we talk about hypothetical, we're pontificating about what's possible. That is not what happens when there is money. People get weird really fast, and it's really sad, right? So yeah, there's lots of charitable causes, all this stuff, but it would become your full-time job to be responsible,
Yeah.
stewarding the money, like managing it. It's like a burden, right? I'm curious what Maverick was going to say now that he's heard all of these other answers.
Oh, Maverick already told me this morning, so I think he'll
What?
stay true.
Well, I agree with you, Dad. I would not, I'm only 15 years old and I would not be responsible with $500 million. So I would instantly give away hundreds of millions of dollars. Like 100%, because that's something I want to do. But then like with the other millions of dollars, I just buy houses and cars and assets, and also probably buy my brother's cars, because my brother really wants a Bugatti for his first car, and I'm like, you know what, he'd be like my ultra best friend if I could do that for him, you know. So that's
And no, he'd be your best friend until it needed to change the brakes, which cost like $200K.
Wait, what?
Oh, dude, like an oil change on a Bugatti. I think if someone should look it up and type it or check it out, Jared. But like, I think an oil change on a Bugatti is like $10,000.
No.
Oh yeah.
I get mad when they upgrade me for my oil change, and they're like $20,000 for an oil change?
$20,000 to $25,000 for an oil change.
No.
So that's what I'm saying. If you buy him that car,
I would just rather have a jet. How much is an oil change on a jet?
It's $50,000 for all
that
the
needs
wheels.
to be pulled out as an Instagram clip. Go on my Instagram so I can make fun of that because that's really funny.
Wait.
No, there probably is. It was just a weird statement. So I don't know. Now maybe I'm the bad dumb guy. Is there an oil change on a turbine? Maybe. Probably some version of it.
Is there no oil? And
There has to be lubrication of some kind.
Oh, you guys were making fun of me because there's no oil changing.
Well, that
I
was
just
my
feel
initial
like
reaction, but then I'm like, wait.
I just feel like a jet can get used faster, and a chopper. I don't know. Now we're just trailing off here. We're trailing off.
Here's another thing about money is 70%. Some people say this is an urban legend, okay? But you know the common saying that 70% of people that win the lottery go bankrupt like within 5 years, or they go broke within 5 years. I saw another stat that said a third of lottery winners go bankrupt. Okay, so that means they didn't just go broke, lose all their money. They went broke, went negative millions, had to declare bankruptcy. Because money is spiritual. It's not just money. People have all these ideas about what they're going to do, but I don't know, man. Money is a magnifier of what you already are. And we have, like I always tell people when I do workshops, when I go speak, that the amount of money that you have is correct. Like it's not a trick.
So do you
there's
think-
no conspiracy. Like it's correct based on who you are, the value you provide so far, right? And we're always on this journey, the hero's journey of becoming more so we can have more, so we can do more, all these things.
So are we the bottleneck of our finances?
We're always the bottleneck of our finances. Every single time. Every single time.
Interesting.
Every single time. Now there's things that happen to us that constrain us or slow us down temporarily, but on a large enough time horizon, no, we are definitely the bottleneck. So I heard Myron talk about the difference between determining factors and contributing factors. So like with money or success or your business, yeah, bad things happen. You know, I got a flat tire driving to Nashville to go to the huge convention like a few months ago. And it was like a blow up. My tire exploded. It was kind of scary. I was on the expressway. It was very inconvenient, you know. So getting a flat tire is an example of a contributing factor. So it's true I got a flat tire, but I can't say I'm not successful because I got a flat tire. And when people do, they conflate like contributing and determining factor. A determining factor of success is your mindset, your skill sets, the value you provide, like your talent stack, right? Your talent stack, all this stuff. Like how persuasive are you? Like how charismatic are you? How much certainty do you walk with? What things do you know? How do you communicate? How do you articulate? How do you transfer enthusiasms to other people? You stack these skills and like more opportunity becomes available to you. Those are determining factors of success. Your network, the people you get connected to, which by the way, you have to like intentionally build a network. It doesn't just happen on accident. But yeah, it rains on the just and the unjust alike. I think that's like an awesome scripture, right? Bad things do happen to good people, but they're not determinate on a big enough time horizon of you being successful.
Man,
You like
that
that?
should be, that was a fireball of awesome. The only thing I would add is the bounce back rate from Brian Bowman, who was talking about professional golfers. And do you want to explain that? Because you're so much better at explaining it than I am.
Yeah, that's right on point. So Brian was a professional golfer. Now he helps people make
Amazing
lots
human.
of money with e-commerce, and he's an awesome human being. And so what's up, Brian Bowman? But he told me the number one statistic that determines who's going to win like the whole tour. I don't know how golf works. If you get like, but there's lots of tournaments, and then if you measure, there's so many stats with all sports, but with golf, the most important one to determine who's going to win the whole overall thing is called bounce back rate, which I thought was interesting. And bounce back rate is the ratio of how well you do on a hole of golf immediately after doing really bad on the previous hole. So if you get like a double bogey, which is bad, and then on the very next hole, you crush it and get a birdie or whatever, that ratio is the biggest way to see who's going to crush it, because it's a mindset thing and how fast you can turn the negative into a positive.
Okay. I wasn't even, this was not even on, I'm going rogue, okay? I just saw that Tiger Woods is a billionaire now, which,
I thought he was already a long time ago. No?
well, maybe it was an old article, but it came up as like a news thing, and it said that he's like a billionaire. He's like the first golfer to be a billionaire for being an athlete. And wow, bounce back rate. I mean, he really trashed his name there for a minute, and whoever his PR, his marketing person that boosted his branding back up. Way to go, because
I don't
that's a
think it's
good,
it's not just that.
That's a bounce back rate.
Well, PR is good, but like it's so easy to dismiss the fact that he was in a dark place. He made some bad choices. And
Lots of bad choices. Like
yeah, but who hasn't?
years of bad. But he was with his family when he's announcing that he's a billionaire. So maybe he pulled it back together. Great bounce back rate. Way to go, Tiger Woods.
Hold on.
I know, I just threw a lot out there.
It sounds like you're like, oh, he made these irrevocable, undoable mistakes, and so now for 25 years he has to pay. He's showing up. He's golfing. He's being respected. Like he's had to rebuild his name. You know how embarrassing it'd be to go back in public and just show up after the whole world knows the most awful thing they could possibly know. And probably the reason he was doing those things in the first place is because he felt so alone and he lives in a bubble. I'm not justifying what he did, but I'm saying, how do we not have compassion? Aren't we all that same way with different ways? Yeah, I didn't go in a motel room with a bunch of crack whores, okay, and do naughty things. So that's an extreme example of it, but we all have skeletons in our closet, things we struggle with, anxiety, different things. You're being a little hard on him. And then you give all the credit to
well,
the PR
because
team.
the true unicorn is his wife. I mean, she's got a lot of forgiveness in his heart. Maybe they're not still together. Maybe that was an old picture. I don't really
Yeah, they
know.
got divorced a long time ago.
Did they? Did they? Is that
As far as I know. Jared
Okay.
can correct me.
Yeah, Jared, I don't really know. It was just a picture telling me that he was being a billionaire. I don't know, but as a wife, that's really hard for me to get behind and like be really
I'm
supportive.
not saying you're supposed to be okay with the bad thing. You're missing my whole point. What I'm saying is the bad thing, he deserves the chips to fall with what happened with that. But what I'm recognizing is the fact that he's turned it around. He didn't spiral all into oblivion and go off
Yeah,
the
that's
rails
true.
after that.
Okay, I'll give him some
as
snaps
far
for
as
that.
we know.
Wait,
Maybe he's just better at hiding it now. I don't know.
I hope not. I hope he's in recovery for that. But his bounce back rate, way to go, bounce back rate. And you know what? If he's turned a new leaf, I'm going to get behind that. And you know what? I think not enough people support the bounce back. So I am going against my own thoughts, my own judgments here. I actually think that we should clap and cheer for people who really do turn things around. Like instead of holding it against him forever, like way to go, Tiger Woods.
You want to hear an epic quote? Okay.
Yes.
Y'all ready for an epic quote? Criticism. This is from Joe Z, actually. Joseph Z. He's our favorite bug eater if you want to go look him up. Anyway.
We have a lot of favorite bug eaters.
He said that criticism is the native tongue of the uninspired.
Ooh, say it again for the people in the back row.
Criticism is the native tongue of the uninspired. So criticism is effortless. It's easy. It feels like you get something in exchange for nothing, right? Like you get to feel good about yourself even though you did nothing. So pulling someone down makes it feel like you've pulled yourself up, even though you didn't, but it feels like it did. So it's like a dopamine hit, even though you've done nothing of value to anyone. So criticizing is really easy. Not that we shouldn't. Like a tree is judged by its fruits, and we need to make wise choices with relationships and all this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so easy to look at a celebrity and just say things. And you know what else is easy? Is to look at someone who's been successful in business over many, many years and just like dismiss it or think they're lucky, right? How many times have people said, "Oh, must be nice" to you? Oh, must be nice. Must be nice. What the frick are you talking about? Like, we've been bankrupt. We've had cars repossessed. We live a risky life. We're investing in things. We're doing things. It's high stakes. People depend on us, right? Everyone sees the wine, but no one sees the crushing of the grapes. And I've had my grapes crushed a lot. And you've had your grapes crushed a lot too. What do you think about all that?
Well, okay, you know, sometimes we talk about when you get triggered, and it gets me triggered because anybody who's watched our journey knows that we went through a lot of hard stuff. But for some reason, some people will be like, "Oh, it must be nice to be a trophy wife." I've had someone say, "It must be nice to have a sugar daddy." I'm like, sugar daddy? No one called him a sugar daddy when he was delivering pizzas, or our cars were getting repossessed, or we lived in the trailer park, or like...
Or am I just generally grumpy nature for 20 years straight? I'm more of a salt daddy, if anything.
A salt daddy?
We're getting a sign with that on it, for sure.
A salt daddy.
We'll make you a shirt, Josh.
He's
Yes.
a little salty.
Salt daddy.
Yeah, like it's not always easy. Or a lot of, there's actually something that just happened in Cancun, if we were going to be really honest. Can I just throw it out there?
Yep.
We travel a lot for work. And people probably look at our life and are like, "Oh my gosh, it must be nice." I show pictures of Cancun and the beach, but I put on my bathing suit 0 times in Cancun, and I wasn't really just hanging out at the beach. I got to see it, put my feet in the sand, walked on the beach once, but a lot of the times people see our life and they're like, "Oh, it must be nice." But there's sometimes that it's very lonely, and we're there just for work, and we actually don't get to spend a lot of time together, and I cried about it. I cried about it, everybody. I cried at Cancun.
Yes, you did.
I cried because it felt very lonely. And I wanted to walk on the beach with my husband. And for some reason, in my brain, I thought he understood that without me clearly communicating. So instead, it just bubbled over into a tear fest of, "You didn't even walk on the beach with me." But some people see our life and they don't understand that sometimes being an entrepreneur wife, it's very, very lonely. I have one of my really good friends. Her husband's got a lot of followers and very famous and stuff. And I was just telling her, like, "Hey, I see you," because, there's been times that I bet she's in a crowd of, they throw events with 5,000 people and people ignore her. Mm-hmm. And they all want to see her husband and they all want to talk to him and pick his brain. But she's got to go to those events, and I imagine feel very lonely because her husband is the superstar and she's in the shadow.
You know what the really sad part is about business and all the, I don't know, hustle grind and the 23-year-old life coaches with their rented Lamborghini and you Grant Cardone, 10x your life. Hey, man, you got to 10x your life. It's like there's so much noise, but the really sucky part is even when you make it, it doesn't feel any different. So you believe in your heart, once I hit the $1 million business, it'll be different. When I hit 8 figures, oh, it wasn't $1 million, it's 10. When I get to, $833,000 a month run rate with my thing, then it will be, no, it doesn't ever change. Like the work you got to do in yourself can start right now.
Yes.
Because what ends up happening is people make money or more than they ever thought they would. It's totally unsatisfying. It truly is. There's not even a scientific correlation to happiness and money above, I think it's like a $78,000 per year income. It's probably higher now because of inflation. But anyway,
Is Joe Biden going to take credit for that?
Money does buy happiness to a certain extent. If you live on the street and now you don't, you're happier, right? If you eat
food.
horrible food and you can eat, a nice piece of sea bass, hey, if you know, you're happier. But after you can buy your sea bass and you have your house and you have transportation and clothes, there's not a big correlation, right? And if you even make just $400,000 a year in personal income, you're in, I think, the top 1% or the top 2 or 3% of income earners. And so we have a lot of friends that make 7-figure net incomes, lots of them, and they'll be miserable. They go to rehab. They go to all kinds of stuff.
Tiger Woods.
If anything, I feel like they're more likely to, not just because they can afford to pay $100,000 to go to the fancy rehabs, but it's also because they're finally having the full revelation of, I don't get satisfaction. My identity doesn't feel fulfilled out of this material stuff.
Do you think it's also because they feel lonelier that they can't share it with people because they feel guilty that they, you know what I mean? It's like first world problems. Oh, I wish I had the problems you had. But really, they're sometimes even heavier problems. Like
They are,
when you
but
have
no
more
one
people.
believes it. No one believes it. It's like a self-replicating organism, right? Because when you're not awake to the truth of what I just said, you must be nice. That's your mindset on accident because you don't know any better. But then when you get it, all the people that didn't do it yet are doing the must be nice thing. And even if you tell them, they won't believe you. They won't believe you. You can't know until you do it. Like when you tell a kid to not touch the hot stove, they're definitely going to touch it. Now, once they touch it, now they really know. That's a different type of knowledge, right?
It's a different type
It's
of
not
learning.
knowing
When I was
about
little.
something. It's knowing the deep, intimate reality of something. Jarrett, what were you going to say?
Oh, I was saying I did it when I was little. That was literally, every time they'd be like, don't touch it. Do not touch the hot stove. And I remember, the spiral ones that,
Oh, yeah.
I touched it and I had a spiral blister on my hand. I will never forget it. It was the worst. And I also
Pain-
did like my finger in the cigarette lighter thing. Horrible
Oh.
thing.
Wait,
Ow.
that's a thing? You mean, after it was red hot
Oh,
and you touched it?
yeah. Like you pull it out after it comes out. And I put my thumb on it and I had the whole spiral on it. It was the worst.
They don't even make those anymore, right?
Pain is an
haven't
excellent
seen that
teacher.
I don't think they make those in cars anymore. Actually, Maverick has a scar from an oven too.
But that was
Maverick-
an accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. It was totally an
Jarrett
accident.
was just trying to prove his parents wrong.
Yeah.
was
But
still-
I
No,
will
it isn't.
I will tell you that Maverick was like a year and a half old, and it was a total accident. But he knew better now. He never went near the stove.
You know why? Because pain
Is an excellent teacher.
stole my thunder on that. But
Oh,
that's okay.
sorry.
We shared the
I thought you
thunder.
wanted me to. I thought that was like
I did.
I pause and you fill in the blanks.
Pain is an amazing teacher.
Oh, but it hurts sometimes so bad.
But it's like, remember I was talking about, I'm always trying to like come up with content and frameworks and figure out ways to explain concepts and stuff. And like one of them was this idea of knowing or learning. And there, I'm working on it. It's not all fleshed out, but like there's different types of learning. Learning isn't one thing. It's like a category of different buckets of learn. Like you can learn about something, you can learn of something, you can learn from someone, you can learn by, which I think is the most powerful. You learn by doing. That is like the highest form of learning, right? Pretty epic, right? Like if you learn about a stove, that's not the same thing as learning by touching a hot stove. Like you have a deeper level of understanding. And this is true with money, with marriage, with parenting, with all this stuff. Speaking of parenting, by the way. Oh, go ahead. What?
I was going to mention something, but I was going to mention something a long time ago, but I still want to mention it. So you were talking about hustle, grind, Grant Cardone, 10X. A lot of people think that's like money and stuff. I heard a really cool tactic / proprietary language from one of my unicorns, Brendalicious, and her family always says, how can we 10X this? And they're not talking about money, and maybe they do talk about money in that way, but they're talking about how can we make this experience 10x. And they really are talking about the value of their parenting, their relationship, and they're really a cool family to kind of watch because they're really like looking at how do we make this more epic? And that's what they say 10x. So when I think 10x now, Grant Cardone, you don't have the thunder anymore. My unicorn Brendalicious does, so.
Brendalicious is awesome. So shout out to Brendalicious. I think that's cool. I think that's a good family system. It's a good idea. It's a good concept.
We love family systems.
You just gotta try stuff out. I mean, we have so Maverick is back there, and him and his brothers have been working on something really cool. I'm super excited to share. If you've made it this far on Facebook, which is a terrible place to watch long videos, it's like painful to sit on Facebook watch live videos.
But we're coming soon to YouTube.
Yes, we're gonna come soon to YouTube and do all kinds of great stuff. But my boys have been working on something on their own for weeks and weeks, and they're building this whole course for kids called Epic Life Skills. Now, here's the reality of it. I am not helping them with this. The only thing I did was help them get a spreadsheet with topics and categories of things to teach. But it was really important for me that they like actually do it. So they have to put together like videos and content and structure and the whole thing. They're shooting it and
entire
editing
thing.
it. And like no adults are involved in it at all, which I think is amazing. I'm super proud of it. Maverick had already made the kid war plan videos, which took him 5 months, 8 hours a day. And he was barely 14 when he started those. Now he's almost 16. And this is like to watch the level up and like how much better he's getting at it. I'm super, super, super proud. So Jarrett, I don't know if Maverick knew I was going to do this, but Jarrett, I had you preload a little clip. So I want you all to watch this. This is just one little super short video. We're just going to stream it in here. Hopefully it works.
Yep.
Called
ready.
How to, what was the title of the one I gave you, Jarrett?
How to manage screen time.
How to manage screen time. So if you have kids and you want them to manage screen time, imagine they watched 70 videos like this about all kinds of different topics, but this is just one example. And they did this all by themselves. So I'm proud of you, Maverick. Okay, let's see what we got.
Welcome to my coffin. I have a camera here, down by my feet.
I've been here for weeks.
Hello, my name is Maverick Latimer, and today we're going to be talking about screen time and why it matters to limit yourself. Just to be clear, limit yourself with screen time. We've all been there, consumed by video games, YouTube, and everything else that's available on your iPhone. It's so addicting to swipe through TikTok, and I would know it better than anyone because I'm a video editor. But why make a video about this, and how does it relate to even being epic? Well, video games and screen time isn't really good for your health or your mindset. It's not very productive, and it just melts your brain away. Now, there are some exceptions, but I'll get to them later. First, let me tell you the side effects of being on screens too long. Number one, you get grumpy. By the way, these are all from experience. Number two, you get really tired. You know this if you've been on a screen for too long. You feel lazy and tired and just like, I don't want to move. I want ramen. Not good for your health. And then the third thing that's really important is also something that not that many people know about. It's something that I like to call dopamine burnout. What is dopamine? Dopamine is the chemical that's manufactured inside your brain and spread out all through your body that makes you feel happy. You know that warm feeling when you see puppies? That's dopamine. You know the feeling when you get a victory royale on Fortnite? That's dopamine. Dopamine is really awesome and it's really good for your body too. But games and screen time have done something really bad to it. Back then, reading a book would give you so much dopamine, it's like playing a game of Fortnite. That's why a lot of people were into books back then. But as soon as games came around, they actually ruined dopamine. They made it so easy to get a lot of dopamine rather than reading a book and then getting dopamine, which takes days sometimes. It's kind of like if you read 37 of your favorite books all in 10 minutes. That's a lot of dopamine. So now when your average is up here, reading books is down here. And reading books sounds so much more boring than having a game that'll give you this much dopamine. Experts say that adults should limit their screen time for less than 2 hours. That's for adults, but personally, I think it's lower than that for kids. Up until you're around 18 to 20, your brain is still developing. And if you have bad habits of just watching YouTube for hours and hours and hours and hours, it's literally going to put a permanent burn mark in your brain. So when you're 63, it's still gonna be in your brain because when you're so young, it developed in there. And it'll make it a lot harder to stop watching it. You're probably thinking, dang, I should really take a break from all the video games. You're right. But how do I do that? How do I become more productive and more epic? Well, there's a secret tip that I want to give to you. It's called the secret of the... It's challenge time. Sorry to cut you off like that, but it actually is in the challenge, so you're gonna have to stick around to find out. Today's challenge, what I want you to do is something that almost all successful people do. Every day this week, so from right now, from you watching this video to 7 days from now, every time you wake up, I want you to not touch or even think about an electronic for 30 straight minutes. And guess what? This is also the super secret tip that I was about to tell you. What's so important about this? Well, in the morning, your first seconds and first minutes and first hours matter a lot because that's what's gonna set you up for your entire day. Now, most people's morning routine is either eat breakfast, grab a coffee, then get on electronics, or skip the first two and just get on electronics. Hate to admit it, but I've been there. If you can take just 30 minutes out of the beginning of your day to just relax, have some alone time, think to yourself, it will actually increase the productivity of your day. And not only that, I don't want you to just sit in your bed for 30 minutes and twiddle your thumbs and just be like, la 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 la. Just thinking. While you can do that technically, because it is better than being on electronics, I want you to actually do something productive. Read a book. Experiment with breakfast food items. Make like a special omelet that you've never made before. Go for a jog. Do a little exercise. Make your bed. Now, making your bed is something that I highly recommend that you should do as soon as you wake up. We'll talk more about that in a later video. Basically, just have 30 minutes of productivity in the morning so that way the rest of your day will be even better. Oh, I almost forgot. I was about to talk about the one little exception. The exception on electronics and screen time. If you are actually doing something productive, let's say on YouTube, you wanted to listen to something smart or a tutorial on how to learn how to do something, I think that's 100% okay. But it has to be 100% learning and education. But hey, if you want to just keep being normal, you do you. But if you want to actually level up and learn new things and become very, very wise and epic, you're gonna have to put in the work. I believe in you. My brothers believe in you. You can do this. Am I doing this right?
Yeah, Maverick! Woo! Oh, Ashley's crying. Ashley's crying. Do the cry. Catch her in the cry. Proud mom moment. Proud mom moment. I'm having a proud dad moment too.
It's more than just that. There's like these moments of sometimes entrepreneurship is very hard on a family. And sometimes you question, are we doing the right thing? Should we just like not do this and do a 9 to 5 and be a normal family? And like, are my kids going to be okay? And like, you know, we're this wild family that kind of like sticks out. We're like trying to push the envelope. And then there's moments like that. And you're like, we went on a trip, we came home and he had like 10 videos made. And it's just like, I think it's going to be okay. I think we are doing the right thing.
I think the over-under on Maverick living in her basement at 32 eating Hot Pockets is looking really good right now. I don't think Vegas would give good odds on that bet. But no, proud of you, Maverick. And let me ask you this, Maverick. You can put yourself up there real quick. What's kind of the time frame on this? Because if you're going to launch this, you got to hurry up and finish them. But how long is it going to take? How many more videos do you have on your list, et cetera?
We have a lot of videos to go. We have around 10 to 11 done right now, and we hope to get it fully launched right before Black Friday. So right on the 25th, Thanksgiving, we want it out. We don't think all of the videos will be done, so we'll release it in sections. We'll have most of the sections done, and then we'll have a coming soon section for all the videos that aren't done, and we'll just rush and get those done as soon as we can.
How many total are there on your list? Is it like
there's
60 or 70 or something?
50 something.
50 something, okay.
50 more, I think, right?
Is that the total count?
I thought Sawyer told me the total was 70, but I could be wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, I think it's about like 56.
Okay, that's a lot, by the way.
A lot.
So I'm super pumped. And Sawyer, so there's 3 boys. So Maverick is kind of the head CEO guy of this project, right? But Tucker and Sawyer are both working as well. So Sawyer is going to build the funnel. Sawyer is our Actually kid. He was here.
We call him the professor, yeah.
Right. He has glasses, and he's like, well, actually, in the Cretaceous period, he knows facts and figures and numbers, but he's also a funnel guy, so he's kind of like found his lane with that, at least for right now. And he's been teaching himself how to do that. Tucker is a natural-born, stone cold sales guy. So it'll be interesting to have him make the sales videos and stuff that go on the funnel page. It's gonna be super cool, and all of you definitely have to buy it for your kids. But this really wasn't a promotion of it because there's not even a place to go get it. We're just proud of you, Maverick. We wanted to honor you. And the work that you did.
And I got to tell you something funny as a mom moment. So on the way here, I'm like, maybe we should all like read a book together. Like, I feel like outside of school, like we really need to be reading books. And I'm the dorky mom who didn't know that every single one of them is reading a book right now. And they were like telling me all about their books. And I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. Like, so, and Tucker's is something with sales. His is a sales book. And he just finished. He's like, I just finished my sales book. I need a new one. So that sounds like a great idea, Mom. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Our boys have been crushing it lately.
They have
extra
been.
crushing it. And Maverick, you were telling me too. You messaged me when I was in Cancun, and you said you'd worked out. You'd done like 2 or 3 things for like a week in a row. You had like read the Bible, worked out, and did something else. I can't remember what the other thing was. But do you remember what I asked you? I said, where's that motivation coming from? Is it a pretty girl, or do you just want to crush life? And he said, you're like, both.
Oh, okay. Mom needs to recap since
I don't think it's a specific pretty girl. He's just getting ready, right? Makes sense. So I want to transition as we get ready to land the plane here, though.
Okay.
So last couple of things I wanted to talk about was, number one is, if you have a service company or any small business, have you ever thought about this? Here's my question. Do you realize that you have the earning potential of a professional athlete? Literally, okay? So if you're struggling right now, or you're freaking out and the recession's coming and you're like, oh my God, and you're in survival mode, been there lots of times, totally get it. But don't forget the truth, the irrefutable fact that the thing that's in your hand right now, you literally have the earning potential of a professional athlete. And like, one of the sad parts about professional sports is how a lot of kids in inner cities, that is like the thing in their mind, the only ticket out, right? It's their ticket out. What?
I just saw something from Charles Barkley. He was talking about how he was going. This was a TikTok, actually, so I should have listened to the screen time. But he said that when he goes into certain places, 90% of people will say they want to be an athlete and stuff, and how sad that is.
Yeah, I think 90% of whatever Mavericks generation is want to be YouTubers. I don't necessarily think it's sad, but it is interesting because if you go to China, they want to be like engineers. It's like, not good. But my train of thought's messed up now.
Oh, I'm sorry. You were talking about people, what their athletes are holding their business in their hands, and they're athletes.
Okay, so when you believe that your only ticket out is to achieve an almost impossible outcome of being the best in high school, being the best in college, even getting into the pros, but let alone sticking around long enough to actually have a lifetime worth of money, right? And having like bad influences with you and no financial education. Like, it's just a minefield, right? But a service business owner has your chances are exponentially higher to make big money with your business. And it can happen really quick. So I know a lot of people have had companies for like 20 years, and then they finally the light bulb finally goes off in their head where they're like, oh my gosh, I am tired of watching 26-year-olds with pressure cleaning companies 10xing their business really fast. And I've been doing this for 20 years. The opportunity is so big, right? The right system, the one right hire, pivoting a couple things can geometrically change things really, really fast. And so if you only make $100,000 a year right now and you want to do $1 million, it's not like you have to do 10 times as much hard stuff as you did to go from 0 to the $100,000. Right? There are big things, needle moving things that need to be implemented in there. But I think that's really important to understand, because I had a conversation with a guy who owns a lawn mowing company and a liquid company too, named Rick. Shout out to Rick. Rick's a baller. He makes $1 million a year in net. Okay. In net. That's more than lots of professional athletes, right? A lot of the athletes in the pros, they just get the league minimum money.
It's like 200,000.
No, I think it's like $500,000.
Oh, okay.
Will you look it up, Jared? Actually, league minimum for MLB, NFL, and NBA. I'm just curious. It's different in each one, but anyway. So this guy, but he's a long guy. But he was talking about how people look down on him, but he kind of enjoys it because there's something kind of beautiful about being a window cleaner, right? And Ashlee, it used to drive her crazy for years, even after I sold my window cleaning business and started my software business and my other software business and started Automate or Sell and all these other things. We'd go to a dinner party and people would say, what do you do? And I would say, I'm a window cleaner. And I don't know why I did that. I don't really do that now, but I did for years, and it would drive you crazy because it's so satisfying. They don't need to know. I don't need them to know anything. It's actually, it's kind of nice for them to kind of find out later, or if they even find out, you know what I'm saying? So people look down on blue collar entrepreneurs, or maybe you didn't get good grades. I didn't get good grades, right? Because school's stupid. Learning's awesome. Skill is stupid. No, okay, don't listen to me, kids. School is very important. But no, school is stupid. So the whole system is designed to tell people like us that you can't make it. But the reality is I know dozens of service business owners that make more money than doctors.
They have
that make
millions of dollars in the bank.
Yeah, they make more money than professional athletes, and no one knows it. They're like, oh, when are you going to get a real job? Oh, that's cute. Oh, you clean windows? That's cute. Listen, you might be 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 moves away from that breakthrough, and it will change your life. Now, earlier we were talking about how money doesn't buy happiness. That's true. But I can tell you it's easier to cry in a Ferrari than it is in your broken down car. No, just kidding. I'm not a Ferrari person, but
I got those
I
numbers
think
for you.
the personal accomplishment of it is huge for your brain. Yeah, what are they?
So the NFL's minimum salary for this year is $705,000.
Oh, that's higher than I thought.
Yeah, it
And
was
then-
4 something.
And then the MLB is $300,000.
Whoa, that's a price gap.
What about the NBA?
Hold on, I'm looking at that one.
That one's got to be higher because there's less
300K.
players.
$925,000.
Yeah.
Well, baseball's the sport you want to go pro in.
No, it's not. It just
Well, you have
said
to travel, but you can-
300,000 though.
No. But you get like
Oh,
a
but
20-year long career. You
that's
don't destroy
true.
your body.
Yeah, what's the average career of an NFL player?
I think it's 4 or 5 years.
Oh, I
That's
bet
my
it's
guess.
less than
Jarrett,
that.
Jarrett will look it up. I think it's 4 or 5.
3.3 years.
3.3? Jeez.
So you're right. So you get less as is like a baseball player, but you get to go longer.
And you
It
still
says
can
that
make
an
a ton
MLB
if you
player
crush it.
career lasts on average 2.7 years.
What does?
Wait, baseball?
MLB, yeah.
Oh, wait, we were wrong. Tell us about NBA because they made the most. Man, you can like mess up your body so hard
NBA
though.
is 4.5 years.
Oh, so NBA is where you want to be.
Yeah.
But you
I
have
guess
to
that's
be,
true.
but you
Well,
have to be
here's the
so
thing-
good because
but
there's
wait,
less
wait,
NBA
wait, wait,
players
wait.
in there. Okay,
It's like,
it's still not enough as a window cleaner. I'd still rather be a pressure washer, window
just
cleaner.
hold your horses for 2 seconds.
Sorry, I'm just getting
So,
passionate. I'm gonna
if you
fight everybody.
If you suck as a pro, which means you're a sucky pro, which means you're better than literally every human on the planet, except for the 1,500 people in the NFL, right? But if you're at the bottom tier of the NFL, it's going to be rough. The bottom tier of MLB, it's going to be rough. If you're like middle of the pack, a career person, assuming you don't get injured, you're like super good or not even the best. I still think baseball is the best bet. From everything I had heard in the past, I don't know. The only bad part is they have tons of games, like 100. How many games is in their season? I think it's like 90 or 120 or some crazy number. So you're traveling a lot doing games, but it's kind of chill to go play a baseball game and get paid, $50,000 a week or whatever some of these people get. It's not a bad deal, but none of that actually even matters. The point is to encourage you to keep going, keep your eye on the ball, and remember this: the recession is here. It's on its way, but it's like here, and it's going to get worse. Okay, and I hope that I'm wrong, and people make fun of me. I don't think I'm wrong. I think interest rates are going to go to over 10%. I think the housing market's going to get stuck. I think the used car market's falling apart. There's things happening, but it's not bad news. It's good news. You got to understand recessions and financial pressure like this. It doesn't create failures. It exposes failures.
Ooh, doggy.
So what happens is when times are good and everybody's fat and happy, there's tons of little cleaning companies, service companies. Everybody kind of got into business, and they were able to survive just because of the demand alone. But it doesn't mean they're talented. It doesn't mean that they actually study asymmetrical marketing. They have the right systems, that they've invested in themselves, in their education, in their network, in their mindsets, and their skill sets, right? You have, especially if you've watched this crazy, weird video this long. Look, massive opportunity. I heard Nick Bailey say that pressure doesn't create cracks, it exposes cracks. So that's the inspiration for my thing now, which is recessions don't create failures, they expose failures. So just get ready, get your mind right so you can get your grind right and you can survive. You're going to be able to buy discounted inventory. You're going to be able to buy other companies. You're going to be able to take ground. If you understand your numbers and the economics of your marketing and your max customer acquisition costs and all the nerdy things that I teach people about, if you know these things, you have an unfair advantage and you can make that professional athlete money regardless of how the economy goes.
And to bring it all around, you're basically sitting on your own lottery ticket that you write, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have better chances to buff and shine up your service company than you do winning the lottery or becoming a professional athlete. Fact checkers.
Most of the people watching this could be a millionaire in like 2 or 3 years if they went really, really did hard things and went for it. You really could. It doesn't take that long. Unless there's some weird circumstance. But you see, everyone thinks they have weird circumstance, but they really don't. Well, Josh, you don't understand. My situation's this, or I'm in debt and this and that. It doesn't matter. It could be, the reason I know that is if I took like a person like Tommy Mello. Tommy Mello texted me when I was in Cancun. He sent me a picture of myself from some event that we were at. I don't remember about, just to be silly. And I just asked him, I texted him back. I said, "Are you a billionaire yet? Hurry up, bro." Right? To be funny.
Because he's going to be a billionaire. He's almost.
You don't have to be him with his personality type, but you got to recognize that if I took him and I plopped him into your situation, he would make a lot of money really fast. And it's not because of your market and because the things are different and your prices are too low or high or whatever. He would just go get it done. And so it's a mindset thing. It's a skill set thing.
You know what would be interesting? This would be really interesting. I know you're trying to land the plane, but it would be so interesting to take some big business people and to literally take them out of their element. This would be a great reality show. All they have is their skill sets and their mindset, and you put them in and see how fast they could.
They have a show like that.
They do?
Yeah,
Did I miss?
Undercover Millionaire, Undercover Billionaire. Grant Cardone actually did one of them. But
Way to go, Grant.
they'd have 90
Snaps for
days
you.
to build like $1 million business, and they have like
Oh,
100
see how
bucks
much
to start
TV
with,
I
right?
watch. I don't watch very much TV, but
Yeah. I don't
They
know
should
if it's
do that with the-
legit. Like, it's guided reality, but it's still a cool concept. Yeah.
I got fact checked.
Wait.
What did?
I did
for what?
on the MLB. I read the heading, and it was not right.
Oh, you
Right.
fact checked your own self.
No, I got fact checked on the Facebook with comments. It was great. So
Great.
So the salary for MLB. So it was last year 570,000.
Okay.
And because of inflation, I'm sure it jumped up to 700,000.
Oh, so you were like trying to be Joe Biden with the
I
MLB.
was Joe Bidening the MLB.
Dang,
for a
and then
second.
Elon fact checked you, and then maybe
Yeah,
someone
no,
else.
literally,
can
I'm watching
fact-
the comments, and there was like 6 people on here. They were like,
Are there any other cool comments or questions or anything before we get ready? Because I'm going to have Ashlee pray. That way it scares all the people that are scared of that. And that's hilarious to me. And then we'll end the podcast. But you got anything else?
David Rhodes was talking about the show you were talking about. It says Undercover Billionaire.
Okay, I need to watch this. I don't really watch that much TV, as you can tell.
And then there's a bunch of comments from Dave Lindenbaum.
Oh, Dave
talking about
Lindenbaum.
such a great reframe when you were talking about salaries and stuff like that. And then, yeah, that's they've been-
Dave Lindenbaum is one of my favorite people
Yeah.
on the planet.
Yeah.
Such a great human,
Top shelf human.
funny, like thinks he's an asymmetrical marketer.
Yeah. You think?
The noise, the nuance,
Dave,
and the
everyone needs to go
offer.
like Facebook stalk him.
Oh, my
because He's a
goodness.
brilliant marketer. He's a high performance, high paid coach. He makes bajillions of dollars on the internet, and he knows lots of secrets. We happen to be lucky enough to know him in real life, and he's awesome.
And actually, I don't even think he's totally tapped in. When the world knows what Dave Lindenbaum can do,
Yeah, they don't even know.
watch out, Elon.
People that know, but he's also hilarious. But yeah, there's so much. I should have him come to Texas and I'll interview him.
Oh my goodness, you need to interview him because he's such a fascinating human.
He's
and
made tens of millions on Amazon alone.
He's just a cool human.
Yeah. Well,
And he
shout out
cares
to
about
Dave.
the details. He cares about the details. He was in the inner circle with us, and still to this day, he celebrates everybody's birthday. Because I think today is Kaylin's birthday from Lady Boss.
Oh, yeah?
Shout out to her. Happy birthday. if
Happy
you ever
birthday,
see this.
Lady Boss.
Well,
Bart
awesome.
Miller's saying hi. He says hi on here.
What's up, Mark?
And then, no, Bart. Bart
Oh,
Miller.
Bart Miller.
Bart.
Bart
Oh my
Miller.
goodness, another amazing human that you need to interview. Oh
And
my
then we
goodness.
have another one that said, "Hey, Latimers, when are you guys going live again?" So every Tuesday.
we think every Tuesday at like around 11 Central, so noon. Probably the worst time ever. I don't know. We reserve the right to totally change our mind, but we're trying to figure out and build the systems for this, and we were trying to build a content machine to do a bunch of stuff. So I have new things I'm doing. Recession marketing, which is probably the greatest training I've ever personally put together. People's heads exploded. I have a program called the War Plan Insiders, and I just launched and working with them. We're going to have the podcast and a YouTube channel. Ashlee has the Unicorn Squad. So we have all these things we're trying to figure out, and you get to experience it because we're going to be totally open and transparent about it as we go. How to build the systems and workflows to make massive amounts of content. So Jarrett, tell them like how you said 365 pieces of content by
Yeah, we got
Christmas
8
or
weeks.
something?
8 weeks, and we're going to be outputting 360 something pieces of content. Sean, he's actually in the camera. He's right here. He's helping us out with all the things. He's like overseeing all of the creative side of stuff. So it's just like we're crushing it. We're putting all the systems together, all the systems in place, and we're going to be doing a lot of content like this, and then a bunch of teaching videos. You're going to be on Instagram. Like, it's going to be awesome.
We're going to be everywhere. So
Everywhere,
hopefully
literally
you like our
everywhere.
faces. And if you hate them, please direct them to my husband and not myself.
If you hate us, please comment below because it juices the algorithm.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
help
yeah.
us reach more people. Thanks in advance for that. And haters are your elevators. Do you want to pray to Jesus? Okay, we're not praying to the universe. Bullcrap. We're not praying to the life force. Bullcrap. We're praying to Jesus and to God, the creator, because every watch has a watchmaker, and you were made on purpose for a purpose to change the world. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, now I've prayed in front of a lot of people before, but I do not pray very good on camera, so let's get weird. Let's just get weird together.
Just go for it.
Okay. Dear Jesus, I just thank you so much for dying on the cross for us, Lord. We love you and worship you and honor you and praise you, God. I just pray that you just anoint us, Lord, and that you just, I just pray for everybody who's watching this, Lord, that you would cover them in protection, Lord, that you would speak to them, Lord, that you would shine bright in their lives, Lord, and that you would anoint their steps, Lord, that you would create the path that they need to go on, Lord. I just pray that you protect over their families, you watch over them during this hard times, Lord, and that you would shine your light bright, Lord, in Jesus' mighty name. And all God's people said,
Amen. And I don't have a call to action because there's no website to go to, but we'll see it next week, and you'll
we actually
you'll
have
be
nothing
hearing from
to-
us again. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great week, and God bless. Bye-bye.